Hi guys, welcome back. We are here to do your update for December 2020. I can't believe I'm saying this. Now, this has been a very unique year. A lot of what's going to come through is going to be very unique this month. I'm here to guide you through that process and into 2021 and beyond. This is a very comprehensive report, and this is a really large pivotal point for us collectively. So we're going to dig deep into your astrology charts. We've also got this video where you can stream forward, stream back, and actually link into what you need to listen to. But there are very important aspects inside this video that are going to help you through. So, you're really guided to listen to each section. It's deeply important for you, and it will be changing the collective for the whole of December 2021. Now, key dates are mentioned and key themes. Let's get into the energy. Grab a cuppa, sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. Okay, moving into this month, we already have Neptune and Pisces direct. Now, in shadow energy, it can take some time to kick up some speed. This is an energy that is quite slow moving. We're also having the conjunction point this month, as well as the energy of both Saturn and Jupiter moving from Capricorn into Aquarius, which is, it's what we've been waiting for moving into 2021. It has really taken a toll on us moving through. So many of us will be very grateful, but it is a transitional stage. You need to attempt to keep as grounded as possible through it. Conjunction points can be very positive. They can bring blessings to you. The day after the eclipse, we are also having Aries and Chiron stationary direct. So again, it will move quite quickly. We do need to pay attention to inside our zodiac signs where that links to, which I will mention. But bear in mind that energy, we will start within the next 1 to 2 weeks feel like we're more energetic. We did have Aries and Chiron retrograde. It was really pushing us down for 6, feeling very tired. A lot of us still were feeling tired last month, due to the fact that Aries and Chiron was still retrograde, to give us that time to really reflect. So it's really healthy that it is moving forward, especially moving into Christmas and New Year. It's going to put us in a better standpoint where we can deeply be in our emotional grounded energy to be able to see and perceive things. Also, with Neptune and Pisces going direct, it's going to be doing the same thing. And as we move into January 2021, we will have Uranus and Taurus going direct, where next year it will be making 3 squaring points to Saturn in Aquarius. Catch your breath, Gemini, as I'm trying to. We have just moved out of the eclipse in Gemini, which was very first house placement, a very personal place for it to occur. And although the lunar eclipse in Gemini can have been playing out very much in themes connected to the collective, it may also have directly hit your first house placement. It might have been a very personal energy for you. Now, at this point of the video, we are connecting and with date by date moving towards the solar eclipse in Sagittarius, and then we'll move on towards the frequency of the astrology and the area of the conjunction point. Now, after the conjunction point, we're going to mention the full moon. You can stream forward to the various sections, but the dates in these things, if you need to refer back to them, are handy to have. They're key point dates, themes that can be playing out. So if you feel you need to, feel free. You can stream forward and stream back. Let's get into the energy. Now, at the beginning of the month, we are having the moon and the energy within the phase of Gemini still. So yes, all things of you, all things of self, how you show up in the world. You may be changing your appearance. Your feelings could be changing. So be gentle with yourself on that day. Also, your feelings. You may be feeling more yourself. You may be feeling very out of sort. It depends on how it lands for you spiritually and psychologically. Now, Mercury enters Sagittarius, and this connects to your 7th house. So marriages, contracts, partnerships will be a point of thought. You may be trying to work through those areas, think on them, meditate, and understand them. And pretty much within the first week to 2 weeks, moving towards the solar eclipse, you're going to find this is a point to get things done. There may be empty pockets where you feel things are flowing, you're trying to pull things together, you're trying to tidy things up. Between the 2nd and the 4th, we have the moon transiting Cancer. So again, it can be intuition, it can be emotions coming up, and it is your second house placement. So pay attention to your emotions and self-navigate and self-master. The reason I say that is because Aries and Chiron is linking to your 11th house placement. Now, Aries and Chiron isn't going direct until the 15th, and it will be stationary, and that's directly after the eclipse, so there can be some tension point linking in with your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. Although you have wounds in those areas, that is the place that you are going to really, potentially where you might have had blockages and where you are mastering, self-mastering. So, you know, have faith in those areas, because potentially with subjects to do with that, it can be very similar to Jupiter energy really in nature, where, you know, being able to go that distance and feeling like somehow you're going to fail, this is a turning point. So pay attention to it. You'll have more energy, maybe for your social endeavors, maybe for your hopes and dreams, and it's fatigued you pushing that wheelbarrow up the hill. As we reach that point and Mars goes direct, the pressure off that emotion can be coming through. But emotions to do with feminine energies, emotions to do with your own belief systems inside of families. Home-based subjects can play out in the energy of Cancer, but the moon will be in Cancer between the 2nd and the 4th. So pay attention to that area. Now, on the 5th and the 6th, we have the moon transiting Leo. Now, with the moon being in Leo, it can be subjects to do with communication. Now, your emotions may navigate the way you communicate. So that can be both good and bad, especially since Aries and Chiron is retrograde. Pay attention to it. Is it egoic? Are the emotions coming up and you're requiring to be firm? And there's times and places for that, certainly. But just, you know, with the self-mastery, checking whether it's aggravation energy due to the fatigue. But I do feel you can be very focused on being strong, trying to achieve things. Appearance and things to that degree can be coming up. Now, the 7th and 8th, we have the moon transiting Virgo. This can be a place where we're trying to become very logical. We're trying to get things together, and you can find this is a great time to tidy shop, tidy house, get organized. You might be looking at your routine and needing to do quite a few things. It will be a good day because the moon is in that energy, but just pay attention to micromanaging those tasks or feeling like they've got to be perfect. There might be something else going on very separately to it where we need to pause, a bit like a painting, step back and observe. On the 9th and the 10th, we have the moon transiting Libra. And for you guys, this can be to do with romance and children. It can be emotions linking to this. It can be trying to attempt to get balance within those areas within life, point blank zero. You do have the axis on the 9th of Sun in Sagittarius squaring Neptune in Pisces. Now, Neptune in Pisces stationed direct at the end of last month, and it is moving forward. So by this point, there is movement forward and we're integrating it, but at the same time, Neptune moves extremely slow. So we still may have some agitation in those domains of your career sector and anything you're pouring your energy into. And this can even be your relationships. Pouring energy in, trying to do the work in those areas in your marriages, contracts, partnerships, due to the fact that it takes a while for Neptune to go, you know, full force forward. Because it's squaring, we have the sun. So the sun in Sagittarius for you is linked to your 7th house on this occasion, and the 7th house placement is in relation to marriages, contracts, partnerships. With those areas, the work you have to put in, you may be finding it difficult, so try and be patient. Now, we also have Libra with these two areas coming through, and it's the struggle and requirement to create balance. Now, the contention point will be Mars and Aries, and that might be duty, hopes and dreams. Maybe biting off a little bit too much than you can chew. Everyone's wanting a piece of Gemini. Gemini's trying to do the best they can and spreading themselves like butter. Now, communication is definitely the key in this, plus being an awareness that we are moving towards the eclipse, which is the shadow sign. We're looking at your shadow energy as well as it is the south node. So moving towards facing our shadow, inside of these scenarios, moving to the energy of Sagittarius is your direct relationships. And there's huge lessons to be learned there. So Although it can feel very disheartening, it can be deeply liberating. I moved through that the Cancer Capricorn transit with the 1st and the 7th house placement. So looking at it where we believe we hold roles in situations and where other people hold roles can transform you, and you find your demeanor and the way you communicate, the way you deal with challenges can be really a blessed place for it to be. It doesn't feel it during the transit, but after you move through it, you really have transformed yourself physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Now on the 10th, we do have, as I mentioned, the moon in Libra. We have squaring positions, trining positions, so the clarity is coming from the wound. Also, what you need to let go of with Pluto sextiling your Venus placement with Sagittarius. So the things you're wanting to do within the area and domain of your career sector, your interconnections, your romance, you're wanting it to go the distance, you're wanting it to grow. You're wanting to have more evolved ways and spiritual connections with people and wanting to build. Now that opportunity can come through, and you definitely learned a lot of lessons from the 8th house placement. And what you're going to find is it's initially you may find it's the interconnection emotionally, and then it can be also financially. So sometimes we can tend to give our power away. We can then see where we're doing that, and then we balance back and we reintegrate. So this push-pull dynamic has been due to the heavy placement of Capricorn, but you will find that that will ease. The benefit is when both Saturn and Jupiter move into Aquarius, it's taking the pressure off the 8th house for you, but Pluto will still remain there for another 3 years. So it's almost like the nanny coming in to say to us, okay, we need to clean that room up now because it's going to get messy. So they're there to sweep the junk out and to show us what doesn't serve us any longer. And it is a beneficial placement for it to be there for another 3 years. So the moon transiting Scorpio on the 11th and the 12th is wanting us to, you know, really dig deep. Your intuition, your emotions can be very superstitious on this day. It's also hunch energy. Pay attention to your health during this day. With your emotions and how you're going and, you know, where you're putting yourself forward. Please don't bring yourself undone, because this can be the place of the undoing with the 6th house placement. But it also can be where we empathically understand other people's positions. And although that's necessary, it also can be to our demise at times when we overgive. Sometimes we can be looking at it from a perspective that it's a wound. And I'm seeing themes of socialization for some reason. This push-pull dynamic, trying to get everything done and not being able to be everywhere at once. The solar eclipse in Sagittarius. Sounds like an old commercial I did years ago. My sister would laugh at me. We had this little training project years ago. I was doing distance education in a European country, and I had to do this little over-talking commercial. And it sounded really corny, but it was really funny. You had to be there to hear it. Now, on the 14th, we are having the solar eclipse, which is a new moon energy in Sagittarius, and it's at the critical degree, 23 degrees. This, for you, connects to your marriages, contracts, partnerships. Also, from an esoteric point of view, you know, Sagittarius is very spiritual in nature. With the 7th house placement, it's taking those two genres on. It can be links to religion, education, foreign countries, travel. It can also take the demeanor on of Aquarius, because we'll already be feeling those energies. But it's what's working. It's looking at those things and having an order and a sudden shift in that area. And you will find, regardless of where you stand, in 6 to 18 months' time, it's going to be very different, and you're going to have very balanced connections that are going to go the distance. And that's due to the fact Aquarius in Saturn does work better within connections. You can look back to May of this year to see themes. You also can look back to 1984 and 2001. Some old situations can be coming back, blasts from the past, especially with the 7th house placement and the nodes being in Sagittarius. But again, checking in with our core values, where we are, especially if we've had a purge of the ego, you know, just recalibrating and checking where we are psychologically, spiritually, but there will be a shift within those areas. So tell me how it lands and we'll continue on to the next part. Now, leading up to the conjunction with Saturn and Aquarius, we have entering on the 15th, we have Aries in Chiron stationary direct, and that's connected to your 11th house. Your 11th house is anything to do with your friends, clubs, associates, aspirations, hopes, dreams, the things you do for other people, you know, all your energy within those areas. Potentially there may have been wounds linking to that. Sometimes we can lose friends through this process. We may have shifted our energy onto our marriages, contracts, partnerships, and potentially even from the 6th house, maybe there wasn't healthy give and take and we learned to do that. Venus also enters Sagittarius, which again is connecting in with your 7th house. Now the moon on the 15th and Aries and Chiron station direct. The moon is transiting Capricorn. So in the next few days, from the 15th through to the 16th, there can be themes linking to Cancer Capricorn. What do I mean about that? Prior to May, we had the nodes in Cancer and Capricorn. So old karmic themes can be playing out. Plus any axis of those 2 points can both 3D and psychologically be playing out. You do have Mercury in Sagittarius trining Mars and Aries. So again, I do feel now that Aries and Chiron is direct, you're going to be able to handle your connections with poise. You will be able to handle them with less adversity there as such. Now, adversity is always going to be there, but your thought processes, you may gain clarity during this of how you were feeling, why you were feeling. And there are really beautiful aspects on this day, as well as we do have Jupiter in Capricorn conjunct Saturn in Capricorn. So subjects to do with give and take. Because it's 8th house placement, this can land in various ways. Some of you, if you did leave a connection, you're seeking it and you're finalizing one chapter and going to another. Others of you, it can be merely you're having clarity as to, okay, we need to talk about this. Let's go to the next level. What's our next step? Where are our finances at? And it can be conversations to that degree. But regardless of whether you're single, coupled, in between, high energies relating to how to pull everything together can come through in a clarity point. Now on the 17th, we have the moon transiting Aquarius. We also have Saturn entering Aquarius. So goodbye Capricorn, hello Aquarius. This links to your 9th house of foreign countries, travel, networking, education, studies, belief systems, psychology. Yes, that was a mouthful. We also then, on the 18th, we have Jupiter in Capricorn conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. So this is going to be both polarities. It's going to be the give and take and what to do to bring everything together. It can be legacies. It can be what do we need to do to make that ship move forward. And you have a lot of long distance energy. So this can be people from the past coming back. It can also be the responsibilities inside of those things with your social networking, with your hopes and dreams and endeavors, as well as how to directly implement that. On the 19th, we have Jupiter entering Aquarius. So goodbye Capricorn, hello Aquarius. Two energies now in the resonance of Aquarius. Now we will have Pluto remaining there for 3 more years in Capricorn, but as I mentioned before, it will help us let go of things that we need to let go of. The 20th, we have the moon transiting Pisces. So for you, how that will link is to your career sector. Now that Neptune has moved direct, you'll have more ability to focus on what you need to do. Plus, because Aries and Chiron is direct, you may by this point have more energy. Now, the conjunction point is occurring on the 21st. And again, we have Saturn in Aquarius conjunct Jupiter in Aquarius. And the ironic thing is we also have the moon transiting Pisces. So with that, what you're going to find is everything career, plus the growth within it, any skills that you have achieved during that time, the movement, the distance, this is when those dividends can pay off. It also can be a pivotal point and a turning point for it. And you may gain some clarity, but there can be blessings coming. We do deem this as the millionaire's conjunction. So if you have put a lot of effort or you've got creative ideas that you want to implement, This can be a time where A, you realize them, or B, they're implemented and the benefits of them come through. Okay, straight into the final moon energy, and we can get then into love. Now on the 30th, we do have the full moon in Cancer at the critical degrees. Now this connects to your second house placement. Your second house placement can be anything pertaining to your professional resources, your land, your material value, skills, your alliances, your ability to follow through, and your resources. So there can be emotions linking to such. This could be especially with the 8th house, anything to do with legacies, that of what we do have, that of what we don't. Again, with the moon energy in Cancer, can be relating to family. However it lands for you, that moon energy will be quite heavy due to the fact it's a full moon and it's going to be a purge, but I'll give you some information linking to that at the end of the video. Into your romance. Gemini, where would I start? Let's go. Okay, straight off the bat, all thoughts romance. That's really coming through the first day of this month. Anything linking to contracts. Now, this is people thinking about you. This is them on your mind. Point blank zero, anything you're going to attract, it's going to be of the same resonance. The thought process in these things can be due to the fact that initially you may, with Aries and Chiron retrograde, feel as though there's this push-pull. And I do feel because you're transforming, because we have the solar eclipse in Gemini, it can take a few weeks to adjust. I'm also seeing the empath energy coming through with the 6th house placement, and around the 5th and the 6th, although it's very conducive and it's flowing, and it can be very passionate, we also do need to be careful about empath energy of understanding and overcompensation. This can also be where we don't tell ourselves those falsities of our memories of the past, that the same is always going to be the same. Now I'm seeing the week leading up to the solar eclipse, major themes to do with you putting a lot of energy into your marriages, contracts, partnerships. So that can be in the second week a point of break. And the reason I say that is because if we are spreading ourselves too fine, we may feel we're not doing things effectively enough. But, you know, rest assured, all your energy you're pouring into yourself, being first house placement, and your connections will balance out. I'm also I'm seeing beautiful aspects and possibilities of these connections going the distance. If you're attempting to attract an energy, these are situations where people from the past can be coming back. The sun energy is there, and it can be happening in a 3D area. You also might be thinking of people, point blank zero, and reflecting upon connections and what they mean. On the 13th, there potentially can be misunderstandings for those of you that are coupled or waiting to hear from someone. Communication, there can be crosswise, but a lot of it on the duty role of whose job is what, again, can come up in a point of contention, but I do see the building of this foundation coming. Now, during the eclipse, there can be a sudden transformation within your romance sector. Again, as I mentioned, this can be a person from the past coming back, and regardless of whether coupled or not, that really is still a potentiality. I also see situations transforming. This can be for good and bad, but 9 times out of 10, it's for good. Endings can be due to the fact that you chose to end a scenario and you're coming to terms with something. If this is merely a transformation within the 7th house, it can be a shake-up and a transformation of the direct connection to the next level, especially with the 8th house placement in this. Some of you, this can be relating to travel or just spiritually speaking, taking it to the next level, getting engaged, having a baby, you know, doing those things. So this is very highlighted for your chart, especially moving into 2021. Spiritually speaking, there can also be subjects to do with finances, your beliefs, maybe your fear-based frequencies linking to those things. And again, conversational pieces to do with where you want to put that money. But again, this can be happening at a very personal level, worry-based energy. And again, more so it will come up towards the end of the month and anytime the moon energy transits, and especially since we are having Uranus and Taurus going direct. So your psychology inside your connections, how the value system is there, how people see you. The internalization of it does make sense due to the fact that you had the 1st and the 7th house placement, and Taurus, which is a Venus sign, landing in your 12th. Okay, overall for your health and your chakras, let's have a look at that. Okay, crown chakra and Aries and Chiron, the direct foundation of where you feel you're going. I do feel initially you're going to have a heart chakra activation, and that can be due to the fact that we have Venus in your stars most of this month. You also have 12th house placement, so you can do the heart chakra clearing initially and use pink quartz. You can also use tourmaline to protect you due to the fact that you have Uranus and Taurus. Also getting green gems can protect your finances. You know, sometimes when we tune into them a little bit too much, it can take us off balance. And like the laws of attraction, it does the polar opposite. It detracts because we're in worry-based frequency. I'm also seeing with your emotions with Aries and Chiron to balance that out. You may find that emotional eating or consuming, buying, eating, drinking can come up around the 2nd house placement with Aries and Chiron retrograde. So pay attention to it, journal, do a diary, you know, sit with your energy, talk to a friend and listen to some guided meditation, but do something that's creative, because to balance it, if you tap into the yellow chakra, which is inner child wounds, it can help anchor you in. I feel most of you might be depleting the lower chakras because you've been pouring your energy into creativity. So balancing those as well if you feel chronically fatigued in that situation. Now, health overall is very good this month. Do pay attention, as I mentioned, to the 2nd house placement, which can be our emotions. By the time Aries and Chiron goes direct, I do feel that is going to balance out for you, especially with the things that you've really been pushing uphill or trying to tune into, trying to find a solution. Third eye, you know, if you feel really blocked with it, clear your third eye and it should balance out. Now, again, spiritually, emotionally, the workload can be pretty heavy, so keeping an eye on that, but taking time to meditate. Now, again, any contention point with your career sector, be it you're unemployed, be it you're employed. If you're unemployed, there can be movement in this moving forward, especially with the conjunction point and the eclipse. I'm also seeing that with finances, things are going to balance out. Please have faith in yourself, especially near this conjunction point. It does benefit you. So not having a job, suddenly having a job with the eclipse and the conjunction point. The work you've put in, the result coming. So it does feel like a flow-on effect when it does come to this, especially if there's been tension within relationships. Those things can start smoothing out. Now, when it comes to co-workers and things to that degree, there potentially could be disputes, misunderstandings, cross wires, frustration, again, due to Aries and Chiron retrograde. Plus, with the energy of Saturn and Capricorn transiting, between that pocket with the conjunction point, roles can come up and division, like whose job is what. I'm all for this side. Tribe mentality, pack mentality can come through. So be patient with it. It is going to plateau out. It will relax by the end of the month. As for money in that area, you can find yet again getting things balanced. A lot may be being handed to you, especially by the 26th and the 27th. There can be subjects to do with you coming up individually because the moon is transiting. You could be super emotional on that day also. Towards the beginning of the month, when it comes to home, it's really important to potentially clear the energy, especially moving towards the end of the year. It's a really good time to do the house clearing. Now, because the moon is transiting through Virgo, Virgo links to your 4th house placement. So, you know, you may be spending a lot of time tidying up mess. Now, it doesn't have to be physical mess, but it can be paperwork, getting organized, sorting things. You might not know why. Well, it is hitting your 4th house, so that can be a direct reason. Now, moving further, emotions to do with family. There could be squabbles linking to siblings and children. Children might be a contention point, especially around the time we have the 9th and the 10th, due to the fact that the moon is transiting Libra. There also can be some stresses relating to finances, but again, as I mentioned, by the conjunction point, these things can kind of sort out, and there can be unexpected surprises at a blessing level in some shape or form. So this could also be surprise visitors. So don't be surprised if you get a surprise visitor. I'm also seeing the need for privacy between the 11th and the 12th. And with the 11th and the 12th, pay attention to your emotions. Are you introverting? Are you maybe needing to call a friend or be around certain people and have that connection? And if there's been things coming up for you that are upsetting you, maybe you're wanting to air that dirty laundry, especially moving towards the 15th. But, if you can hold off on certain subjects and you're able to keep grounded, it's a better time to have that self-love on those days. Overall, home and money is going to balance out, especially with the 8th house. If money has been on short supply, it can start coming in again and balancing out as the transit progresses forward. Try and keep an eye on your 12th house with your psychology surrounding these things. Fixating energy can actually deplete it. Let go for a little bit. Do some guided meditation and a solution shall come. Gemini, your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. Now you have very heavy 11th house placement with Aries. The one thing I will say is because you have 12th house placement of Taurus, you have lucrative ways you can make money. So tap into your dream state and don't allow that 11th house placement of Aries and Chiron bring you undone. Really believing in yourself when it does come to launching things, creating things, co-creative energy. Definitely balance the lower chakras. And I would say inherently you do have an art within you when it does come to Venus attributes that you psychologically can manifest to fruition. Now this can either be tactile goods, it can be co-creative energy, it can be business ventures and things to that degree, but they're wanting you to not dream about it, they're wanting you to live it. So they're asking you to step back from standing in your way, have faith in yourself. Now we have reached that end of the year point. As I mentioned, we are having the full moon in Cancer, which can relate to our emotions, feminines, mother energies, fertility, creativity. It's at the critical point. So being a full moon, it can be a purge. Now also because moon energy can relate to our emotions, it's connected inside your 2nd house placement of your material value, plus because you have 8th house placement, there can be things we're looking at in the bigger sense of where our foundation is. This can also be for some of us looking at the globe and what has happened. It can also be if we've lost a beloved, we've lost a brother, a sister, mother, a friend, or we've merely observed it and the deep emotions can stem from such. I really do believe that our guides at this point are with us and we can tap into that, and I do feel spiritually with Taurus in the 12th house you may be able to understand beauty in different ways. So to be able to share that with individuals can at this point help some people have faith in themselves. The funny thing is we usually have it for others and we promote it, but sometimes we don't promote it for ourselves. And it really is where this year, moving into 2021, that can be a huge blessing for you. In a sense of you getting psychic downloads, seeing the bigger picture, trusting your intuition, and moving on some of those hopes and dreams. Now, if you have lost someone, light a candle in their memory and think of them moving forward and take some of the light of what their achievements were, and if you feel they're able to achieve hopes, dreams and goals similar to some of the stars that we have lost this year, integrate some of that into you and have faith. Light a candle, think on them. My love and thoughts are with you. On a brighter note, Gemini, have a wonderful Christmas, a very happy new year. Thank you for all your subscribes, your comments, your likes, your donations, your super chats. And if you're new, warm welcome. Please sub, join the tribe. Hope to see you all on the other side. I'll see you during the month. If you do want a booking, yes, I am available. Let's move into the age of the Aquarius. If you do like this content and you want more of it, please click the box or sub.